Hey everybody, I'm live. John Hope Bryant, founder, chairman, and chief executive officer of Operation Hope, and author of How the Poor Can Save Capitalism, Rebuilding the Path to the Middle Class. I'm here at the U.S. Treasury Department, and across the street from the White, actually next door to the White House, talking about Financial Literacy Month. And talking about something that just happened historically right across the street that nobody knew about. I did a video on this that got over 50,000 views already. Go watch that video on the history of the Freedman's Bank. But I'm going to get you come at this from a slightly different angle. I want to commend, it's the Federal Reserve Bank of Cincinnati that's doing a great really memorial tour on the Freedman's Bank. I don't know if you know the history of the Freedman's Bank or the fact that there were 30 locations, more than 30 locations across the country, and probably in the city that you live in. But Abraham Lincoln, who was president of the United States and worked next door, created the first federal agency. Well, the first federal agency was created before him, but he amplified it, and that was the Treasury Department, which is where I am today. So all federal government agencies had an office here. Don't think money's important? Every federal government office agency, Department of Labor had an office here. Department of Commerce had an office here. Department of Statistics, all these offices, Health and Human Services, all of them were headquartered at Treasury Department and then ultimately got their own building. So it all started with money. But we never, as former slaves, African Americans didn't get the memo on money. Abraham Lincoln created this bank in 1865, the Freedman's Bank, chartered to teach free slaves about money. Unfortunately, he was killed the next month, which was April. It's odd that he was killed in April. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was killed in April. And it's odd and interesting that April is now Financial Literacy Month, so says our U.S. Congress. So rainbows after storms. But here's the message, and I told this to workers at the Hyatt Hotel yesterday as we talked about a Hope Inside that's being developed and launched to help them take their lives back, because the number one cause of heart attacks is stress, and the number one cause for stress is money. Number one cause for divorce is money. Number one cause for domestic abuse is money. Number one reason the police officers get hurt at domestic abuse calls is domestic abuse calls, and that's about money. And the number one reason why women stay with abusive men is money. So it's a cancer in society that we don't talk about. And as I told the workers at Hyatt yesterday, who, 60 years ago, many of them would have been sitting there with Dr. King, because that's where he held so many of his meetings. So that was civil rights, and this is civil rights, is there's nothing wrong with you. You're not dumb and you're not stupid. I'm talking to you now. You're not dumb, you're not stupid, there's nothing wrong with you. The problem is that Lincoln was killed a month after this bank was created, which was located right across the street from where we are today. And as a result of that, you never got the memo. There's a memo on money. There's a memo on free enterprise and capitalism. There's a memo on how you create a job and get a job and sustain yourself. And if you didn't get the memo, it's what you don't know that you don't know that's killing you, but you think you know. Or worse, you're ashamed because you don't know and you fake it. Where did the black middle class come from? I'll talk about this in another video, but it came basically after World War II. Through government jobs, because that was the only place we could find a level playing field. The doctors came from the government, all this stuff came from government. And so we think oftentimes today that middle class is a nice salary and a good wardrobe. No, that's not middle class. That is a middle class job, but that's not middle class job creation. We have got to understand, all of us, black, white, red, brown, and yellow, we all need some more green. And that's the message of the Freedman's Bank, is that we didn't get the memo on how to create more green. And as a result of that, we end up arguing over stupid things and dividing ourselves by race. But if you deal with class, you get race for free. I want to take this time to thank the Federal Reserve Bank of Cincinnati, thank Secretary Jack Lew here in this building, who had the courage to create, came to him with a suggestion. Do you know that the Freedman's Bank, Abraham Lincoln created this bank, and Frederick Douglass ran the bank, by the way, who was known as an abolitionist, but he was a businessman. He owned property right down the street from here in Anacostia, and he had property in Baltimore. He put up $10,000 of his own money to save this bank, which is $20 million today, which means he was not broke. And I went to Secretary Lew and said that across the street, U.S. Treasury Annex, which has done a lot of great stuff in 100 years, but really that was the foundation, the headquarters for the Freedman's Bank. He was shocked. All the historians here, nobody knew it. I said, will you please consider renaming that bank in honor of the legacy of former slaves 150 years ago and their desire to set themselves free? They put up 73,000 former slaves, put up $52 million $100 billion today. That make that bank one of the top 100 banks in America today. These were industrious people who worked hard, right, and wanted to do for themselves. They didn't want to hand out. They wanted to hand up. Well, Secretary Lew said yes. Well, we had to get the lawyers to agree. And he renamed in January of this year the Treasury Annex building to the Freedman's Bank building. So he's the first Secretary of the Treasury to do it. I think the most innovative thing that Secretary of the Treasury has done since Alexander Hamilton in this country. And I'm the only American citizen that caused a federal building on the White House campus to be renamed. I'm very proud of that. Normally I say we did it. On this one I will take some personal credit that actually I and Opera did that. I hope you don't mind me taking credit, but I'm proud of that to help give a voice to former slaves and those who contribute in this country in a unique way and whose story is not over. So when you come to Washington, D.C., Pennsylvania Avenue, go across the street, the plaque is there, the Freedman's Bank building, and go to check out this exhibit by the Federal Reserve Bank of Cincinnati, and hopefully this spreads across the country to presidential libraries, to other Federal Reserve banks, to your libraries, and your community centers. Tell this story, bake this into your history books. It's not just about civil rights, it's about civil rights too. Civil rights was waged and won in the streets, but civil rights we waged and won in the suites. And this is about class and poverty, not race and the color line. You deal with class, you get race for free. Let's create a new movement. Let's empower our children, and let's change our lives. Now let me go to some questions here to see if I can answer anything before I sign off. Bridget says money, money, money. Jason says good day, good morning. I hope that you enjoyed this session. It's a quick video. Make a great day. I'm out.